Maya Rodriguez stood on the rooftop gallery, nursing a glass of wine and questioning her life choices. The art opening was elegant, sleek sculptures under string lights, the city skyline glittering beyond the glass railings, but she felt completely out of her element. As an aerospace engineer, she was more comfortable with equations than socializing. "You look like you're at a funeral," her roommate Chloe appeared beside her, practically vibrating with energy. "This is supposed to be fun." "Your idea of fun and mine are very different," Maya replied, watching a group of people laugh too loudly at something that probably wasn't funny. Chloe's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You know what your problem is? You never take risks. You calculate everything. When was the last time you did something totally spontaneous? I like having a plan." "Boring. Let me make this interesting." Chloe leaned closer. "I dare you to walk up to any person here and kiss them. Just like that. No introduction, nothing." Maya nearly dropped her wine. "Are you insane? I'm not kissing random strangers." "Why not? You're 27 years old. Live a little. If you do it, I'll do all the housework for a month. If you chicken out, you owe me that spa day you've been avoiding." Maya should have said no. Should have laughed it off and changed the subject. But something about the challenge struck a chord. Chloe was right, her life had become a series of calculated moves. When had she last felt truly alive? "Fine," Maya heard herself say. "But I pick the person." Chloe's jaw dropped. "Seriously? You're actually going to do this?" Before she could change her mind, Maya scanned the gallery. Most people were in clusters, talking animatedly or clearly intoxicated. Then she noticed him. He stood near a large abstract painting, alone with a glass of something amber, studying the artwork with genuine interest. Even from across the space, she could see he was attractive, tall, with dark hair, wearing a charcoal blazer over dark jeans. There was something thoughtful about the way he tilted his head, considering the painting. "That one," Maya whispered. "Good taste. Now go." Maya walked toward him on unsteady legs, her heart hammering. This was crazy. She didn't do things like this. But she kept walking, drawn by a mixture of adrenaline and curiosity. He didn't notice her approach. He seemed lost in contemplation of the painting, bold strokes of blue and gold that somehow captured both chaos and harmony. "Excuse me," Maya said softly. He turned, surprise flickering across his handsome features. Warm brown eyes met hers, and for a moment, Maya forgot why she was there. Then, before she could think, before she could talk herself out of it, she stepped forward and kissed him. For a heartbeat, the world stopped. His lips were soft, tasting faintly of whiskey and mint. She felt him freeze in shock, but then his hand came up to her waist, gentle but steady. The kiss deepened naturally, as if they'd done this 1,000 times before. Every nerve in Maya's body seemed to spark to life. When they finally broke apart, both breathing harder, his eyes searched hers with a mixture of confusion and wonder. "I'm sorry," Maya whispered, suddenly mortified by what she'd done. I shouldn't have." "Don't apologize," he said, his voice low and warm. But Maya didn't wait to hear what it was. She turned and practically fled back to where Chloe stood with wide eyes. "Oh my God, you actually did it." Chloe grabbed her arm. "That was incredible." "Who is he?" "I don't know." "Can we leave now?" Maya's heart was racing so fast she thought it might burst through her chest. "Are you kidding? After that, you should go back and get his number." "No. We're leaving right now." As they headed for the exit, Maya glanced back once. He was still standing there, watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read, part amazement, part curiosity. Their eyes met across the crowded gallery, and Maya felt that electricity again before she forced herself to turn away. In the elevator down, Chloe couldn't stop talking about what she'd witnessed. But Maya barely heard her. She was too busy reliving those few seconds when a stranger's lips had met hers and somehow felt like coming home. She tried to convince herself it was just adrenaline, just the thrill of doing something reckless. But deep down, she knew it was more than that. Something had shifted in those brief moments, though she couldn't explain what. The weekend passed in a blur of conflicting emotions. Maya couldn't stop thinking about him, the warmth of his hand on her waist, the gentle way he responded to her impulsive kiss, those brown eyes that had looked at her like she was something precious rather than crazy. "You should try to find him," Chloe suggested over breakfast Sunday morning. "Absolutely not. That was a one-time moment of insanity. I'm focusing on work." And there was plenty to focus on. Monday would bring. His hand, trying not to think about how that same hand had felt on her waist. "Thank you, Sir Marcus." And Maya? For what it's worth, if circumstances were different, would have definitely found you after that party. Would have asked for your number, your name, everything. He released her hand and stepped back, the professional mask sliding into place. "There's a team meeting at 2 to discuss the new Valorian collaboration. I'll see you there." As Maya left his office, she knew that maintaining professionalism was going to be much harder than either of them anticipated. The afternoon meeting brought another surprise. When Maya entered the conference room, she found her team gathered around a striking figure with purple skin that seemed to shimmer in the fluorescent lights. The woman was tall and elegant, wearing a form-fitting silver suit that looked both alien and sophisticated. "Ah, Maya," Marcus said, looking up from where he'd been talking with the newcomer. "I'd like you to meet Dr. Lyra Veltana, our new xenobiology specialist from Valoria. She'll be consulting on the biological aspects of long-term space travel." Lyra turned, and her silver eyes, so different from human eyes yet somehow warm, fixed on Maya. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Maya. Marcus has spoken highly of your propulsion research." "The pleasure is mine," Maya said, shaking Lyra's hand. The alien skin was warm and smooth, with a texture like fine silk. Over the next 2 weeks, Maya found herself working closely with both Marcus and Lyra. The Valorian scientist was brilliant, approaching problems from perspectives that challenged human assumptions. More importantly, Lyra seemed to perceive things others missed. "You and Marcus have an interesting energy," Lyra observed one afternoon when they were alone in the lab, calibrating sensors for an upcoming test. Maya's hands fumbled with the equipment. "I don't know what you mean. On Valoria, we're sensitive to emotional frequencies. The connection between you two, it's strong but constrained. Like a song being played at half volume." Lyra's purple face showed something like concern. "Why do you suppress it?" "Because he's my boss. Because getting involved would be inappropriate and could ruin both our careers." "Ah. Human workplace protocols." Lyra nodded thoughtfully. "On my world, we believe that authentic connection is precious, regardless of professional hierarchy. But I understand your culture is different." "It has to be this way," Maya said firmly, even as her heart ached. But keeping her distance was torture. Marcus was everywhere, in meetings, reviewing her research, walking through the lab. Every time their eyes met, Maya felt that same jolt from the gallery. Every time he leaned over her shoulder to look at data, she had to fight the urge to turn and kiss him again. She could tell he was struggling too. She caught him watching her sometimes, his expression unguarded for just a moment before the professional mask returned. During project discussions, his voice would soften slightly when addressing her, a warmth that others might not notice but that Maya felt in her bones. The official announcement of the new director for the Interstellar Relations program at the aerospace facility where Maya worked. After 5 years of proving herself, she wanted to make a strong impression on the new leadership. Monday morning arrived with typical Seattle drizzle. Maya dressed carefully in her favorite navy blazer and white blouse, wanting to project competence and professionalism. The Aurora Aerospace Research Facility buzzed with nervous energy as everyone prepared for the all-staff meeting where the new director would be introduced. Maya had heard the stories about Dr. Marcus Chen, brilliant astrophysicist, youngest person to lead a Mars colonization proposal, demanding but fair with his teams. At 34, he'd already made significant contributions to interstellar travel theory. She was both excited and nervous to work under his leadership. The auditorium filled quickly. Maya took a seat in the middle section, her tablet ready to take notes. Around her, colleagues whispered anxiously. "I heard he restructured his entire last department in the first month," someone muttered behind her. "But he also secured 3 times the funding and published groundbreaking research," another voice countered. Dr. Patricia Williams, the facility director, stepped to the podium. "Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's my great pleasure to introduce our new Director of Interstellar Relations and Advanced Propulsion Research, Dr. Marcus Chen." Maya looked up as he walked onto the stage, and her entire world tilted sideways. It was him. The man from the gallery. The man she'd kissed. Their eyes met across the auditorium, and she saw the exact moment recognition hit him. His professional smile faltered for just a second before he recovered, but those warm brown eyes now held surprise and something else, something that made her stomach flip. No. This couldn't be happening. "Good morning," Marcus said, his voice carrying easily through the space, the same voice that had told her not to apologize for the kiss. "I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Aurora Aerospace has an incredible reputation for innovation, and I'm honored to contribute to that legacy." Maya barely heard the rest of his speech. Her mind was racing with panic and disbelief. Of all the people in Seattle, she'd kissed her new boss. Her career was over. Everyone would think she'd done it on purpose, trying to manipulate her way up. The meeting seemed to last forever. When it finally ended, Maya gathered her things quickly, desperate to escape before. "Maya Rodriguez?" She froze. Marcus stood right beside her, close enough that she could smell his cologne, the same scent from that night. "Yes, sir," she managed, keeping her voice steady. "My office, please. We need to discuss the quantum propulsion project you've been leading." Every eye in the auditorium turned toward them. Maya felt her face flush as she followed him out, hearing the whispers starting before the door even closed. His office was on the top floor with windows overlooking the Puget Sound. Marcus closed the door and turned to face her, leaning against his desk. "So," he said, a slight smile playing at his lips. "That was an interesting way to meet. Dr. Chen, I can explain." "Marcus, please." "And I'm listening. I had no idea who you were. It was a stupid dare from my roommate. I would never have done it if I'd known you'd be my boss. I'm so sorry. If you want to reassign me, I understand." Marcus looked genuinely surprised. "Reassign you? Maya, you're leading one of our most promising projects. Your work on ion propulsion efficiency is brilliant. Why would I reassign you? Because I kissed you at a party. Because it was completely inappropriate and unprofessional. You kissed a stranger at an art gallery. Neither of us knew who the other was. You did nothing wrong." He paused, his expression becoming more serious. "That said, we do have a situation now." "I know. I'll keep my distance. Complete professionalism. You'll never have any issues with me." Marcus studied her for a long moment. "That kiss was the most spontaneous thing that's happened to me in years. I spent the whole weekend wondering who you were, if I'd ever see you again. And now here you are, working in my department." Maya's breath caught. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying there's clearly attraction here, on both sides, if I'm reading this correctly." He stepped closer. "But you're right about one thing. I'm your supervisor now. Which means despite what I might want, we need to maintain appropriate boundaries. Appropriate boundaries, she repeated, trying to ignore how her body responded to his proximity. Professional behavior during work hours. No special treatment. No perception of favoritism. Can you agree to that? Yes. Absolutely. Good. He extended his hand. Then let's start over. Welcome to the team, Maya. I've read your research proposals. You have a brilliant mind. She shook. Firm. But before she could submit it, her office door opened. Marcus stood there, and his expression told her he knew what she was planning. Don't, he said simply. You don't even know what I'm doing. You're requesting a transfer. Catherine saw the draft on your screen and couldn't wait to tell me. He closed the door behind him. Maya, please don't do this. It's the only solution. As long as we're in the same department, there will be rumors and questions and I love you. The words hung in the air between them, impossible and perfect. What? Maya breathed. I'm in love with you, Maya. I have been since that kiss, maybe before it, in some way I can't explain. And I know this is the worst possible timing, I know I'm your supervisor and there are protocols and ethics, but I can't let you transfer away without telling you the truth. Tears burned Maya's eyes. Marcus, this is exactly why I need to leave. Because I love you too, and it's going to destroy everything we've both worked for. He crossed the room, stopping just in front of her. Or we fight for it. Together. How? How do we fight the gossip, the ethics concerns, the appearance of impropriety? By being honest. By requesting oversight. By proving that your advancement has nothing to do with our feelings and everything to do with your brilliant mind. His hands cupped her face gently. I'm not willing to lose you without trying. Maya closed her eyes, leaning into his touch. I'm terrified. So am I. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. When she opened her eyes, the decision was made. She kissed him, and this time there was no surprise, no hesitation, just the rightness of two people finally admitting what they both felt. They broke apart at the sound of a camera click. Through the window of Maya's office door, they saw Catherine, phone raised, a triumphant smile on her face. Their secret was out. 3 weeks into Marcus's tenure, Maya was working late in the lab when he appeared in the doorway. Still here? He asked, his tie loosened, jacket discarded somewhere. Just finishing calibrations for tomorrow's test. She didn't look up from her work, afraid of what her face might reveal. Maya. His voice was soft. We need to talk about this. Talk about what? But she knew exactly what he meant. Marcus entered the lab, closing the door behind him. About the fact that I can barely concentrate in meetings because I'm too aware of where you're sitting. About how I've reviewed your latest proposal 6 times not because it needs work but because reading your words feels like a conversation with you. Maya's hand stilled on the equipment. Marcus, we agreed. I know what we agreed. And I'm trying, Maya. I'm trying so damn hard to be professional, to not show favoritism, to treat you like any other team member. But it's killing me. She finally looked at him, seeing the vulnerability in his expression. It's killing me too. But what choice do we have? Before Marcus could answer, the lab door opened. Dr. Catherine Price, a senior researcher who'd been with the facility for years, stepped in with a knowing look. Working late, I see. Both of you. Again. Her tone was pleasant but pointed. Just reviewing tomorrow's test parameters, Maya said quickly. Of course. Catherine's smile didn't reach her eyes. Maya, dear, might I offer some advice? Be careful about appearances. People talk, and in our field, a woman's reputation can be fragile. After she left, Marcus and Maya stood in heavy silence. She knows, Maya whispered. Or suspects. We haven't done anything wrong, Marcus said firmly. It doesn't matter. The perception is enough. Over the next week, Maya noticed the whispers increasing. Catherine wasn't subtle about her suspicions, and others began watching Maya and Marcus more closely. Lyra, observant as always, noticed the tension. Your colleague Catherine harbors resentment, Lyra said one afternoon as she and Maya worked together. On Valoria, such emotions are addressed directly. Here, they seem to fester and spread like disease. That's a good description, Maya said wearily. She thinks I'm using attraction to advance my career. Are you? Lyra's directness was startling. No. My work stands on its own merit. Then why do you allow her implications to wound you? Lyra tilted her head, genuinely curious. If your integrity is intact, her opinions are irrelevant. It's not that simple in human society. The situation escalated when Dr. Richard Morse, a former colleague of Marcus's from his previous position, arrived for a visiting lecture. Richard was charming, accomplished, and apparently had a history with Marcus that included significant tension. At the welcome reception, Richard made a point of engaging Maya in conversation, his interest obvious and his questions pointed. So you're the brilliant Dr. Rodriguez I've heard so much about. Marcus certainly speaks highly of your work. Very highly. Maya smiled politely. He's supportive of the entire team. Of course. Though I notice you're leading several high-profile projects. Quite impressive for someone relatively early in their career. His tone implied something else entirely. From across the room, Maya saw Marcus watching them, his jaw tight. Later, as people mingled, Richard cornered Maya near the refreshment table. A word of advice, he said, his voice low. Marcus has a history of getting too involved with colleagues. It ended badly at his last position. You seem smart, don't let workplace attraction cloud your judgment. I don't know what you're implying, Maya said coldly. Don't you? Everyone can see the way he looks at you. The way you look at him. It's only a matter of time before it blows up in both your faces. Dr. Morse. Lyra appeared beside them, her purple features arranged in an expression that somehow conveyed both politeness and threat. Maya and I need to discuss tomorrow's experiment. Please excuse us. She guided Maya away, her touch gentle but firm. Once they were outside, Lyra turned to her. That man is poisonous. His words are designed to create doubt and fear. But what if he's right? Maya's voice cracked. What if Marcus and I are deluding ourselves? What if this attraction destroys both our careers? What if it doesn't? Lyra countered. What if you're denying yourself happiness based on speculation and fear? She placed a hand on Maya's shoulder. On Valoria, we have a saying, a life lived in fear of judgment is not truly lived at all. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, Richard's words echoing in her mind. By morning, she'd made a decision, she would request a transfer to a different department. It was the only way to eliminate the conflict of interest and the gossip. She drafted the transfer request during her lunch break, her heart heavy but her resolve.